Well, for everybody who's watching now or is watching later, I just want to say that burnout is usually a situation that nobody wants to be in. But what if a burnout can lead you to a more successful and even more fulfilled life? Welcome. I'm Carla Jensen van Roosendaal from Life Mind Creation. I'm here together with Herman Chow. And I invited him to interview him because he has a really great experience with burnout.
Well, I wouldn't say great experience. Was a
The
lesson
burnout
learned.
itself, yeah, the burnout itself was not a great experience, but what came from it was actually totally different than he expected. So, welcome, Herman. I invite you to tell people who you are.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Carla. My name is Herman Chow, as you can see on on the live show. I'm a portrait photographer, and I live in Almere, the Netherlands.
And as I can see behind you, there are really great photos there. So you must be very successful, are you, Herman?
Well, successful. How do you define success? Actually, when you're healthy, you can be successful. It doesn't have to
Good
be
question.
a good business or whatever. So we can define whatever we want.
Totally true. Totally
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Well, you and I were talking last week, and then we did talk about, we came to the subject burnout, and you told me you had a burnout and that it did change your life. So, do you want to tell more about how
Mhm.
that changed your life?
So it actually started, I think it was 2014. I was still working for an employer at that time. It was my third time working for that employer. I went back the third time. So I was happy. However, things started to change. There was an organizational change within the department. So I was assigned to do different things. But the new task, I really hated myself doing that. I just cannot, force or push myself to enjoy doing what I did. I asked for a transfer or whatever, but it was not successful. So I have to drag myself to work every day, not enjoying what I did. And that caused a lot of anger, frustration, and it starts to accumulate. I'm not sure if you know how it feels.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And then things start to roll, and it became, well, I think I call it a depression. It was so awful that I actually wanted to end my life as well at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, but I didn't know how to get out of that situation. So my friend said, you have to see a psychologist. Mhm. And because of this problem, I have to go and see the company's doctor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a very, how you call that, very low in my life at that time. I didn't know what to do.
You got stuck.
Yeah, I got stuck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the funny thing. Well, I remember one day I was still in the office. I was so depressed, and then I just disappeared from the office, and I just hide myself in the car park.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I started to cry, and of course I disappeared for, I think, for more than 1 hour, and then my colleagues started to look for me. Well, now I look back, it's quite funny. But at that time, you just can't
Yeah.
laugh at that. Yeah. So that's how it happened, because of the organizational change. And at the same time, I came across a very successful photographer out of the blue on the internet. She was emphasizing a lot about the importance of printed photographs with your loved ones. So I said to myself, I look back, oh, I didn't have a lot of pictures with my father who died many years ago. And that was a trigger for me to say, okay, in order for me to get out of that rut, I think it's better for me to leave the company and start a photography business. So that was the transition.
So how did that feel that you would have to go for a complete transition? Because when you're in a burnout, you don't feel very good already.
Yeah, exactly. Even with the visit to the psychologist, it didn't help. But I have to say, let me tell you something. I was very skeptical to go to the company's doctor because company's doctor is always on, supporting the employer. They're on their side. But the company doctor was very, very good. He was on my side. So he really encouraged me to really, it's either you continue, you push yourself to work there, or you just have to leave.
Yeah.
So in the end, I left. And then I'm happy photographing people right now, especially women. So
big step.
It was a big step. But also at that time, I also listened to a lot of motivational videos just to push myself up and lift myself to get that energy to start working again. Yeah.
So you did a lot of self-help actually already.
Yeah, I watch a lot of videos. So those really helped me a lot, especially I'm not sure if you have heard of this guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V. So I have to say he's my mentor. He was the one, because I listened to him a lot. And I think something he said one day was, in one of his videos, he said, you only have one life.
Yeah.
Just a simple sentence. You only have one life. And that's it. Yeah. You want to live the whole life with regret, or you just do something about it. It's easy said than done. But when you look at the end result, the future in front of you, what you want, you will do whatever it takes. Even though you are feeling very bad, the mood is not there, you will still have to take actions.
So did for you feel at that moment like, even if you don't have the energy and when you're in that bad situation, you have this negative thinking, these negative future thoughts, but even then you really could grab yourself and look at the future and said, like, that's not what I want. If I do nothing, then I will stick with what I have, and that's not what I want. So
exactly.
I want to take the step to change this.
Exactly. But somehow it's pretty magical, because once you're out of that situation, I left the company and I'm in another environment, your mindset starts to shift, because you're not thinking about your work anymore. You're looking forward to what's coming in your future. My business, photography business. So that really changed my way of thinking, my way of doing things, and that really motivated me to move forward.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So and when we were talking last week, you said also it was like you you had the inspirational videos, you had your mentor, but you also said like there was like inside there was a sort of inner voice, like you heard that you had to do something, you had to change your life.
Well, actually, that voice was the photographer. I told you that appeared somewhere on the internet. Somehow, maybe universe brought me to her and start watching her educational programs, her photography work, and I was very drawn to her work, and that's why it also, like I told you, it triggers me and helped me to reflect that I did not have many printed photographs of my family, and that was like, oh shit, what's happening? And that was the moment I decided, okay, every woman deserves a beautiful portrait of herself. I want to give this gift to all the women on this planet, and they need to be photographed with their loved ones so that they can cherish the photos for life.
And that was the start of your business, your new business.
Yeah, that was the start in 2015.
2015. Wow, that's already 6 years then.
Yeah,
Great.
6 years.
Almost 7. Yeah. Great. And you still love it? You still are happy with that change of life?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
happy. Yeah, because what makes me happy is that I can give this gift for women to see themselves from a different light, how beautiful they are.
So, and what do you encounter with that? I mean, because especially women, out of my experience, they are kind of shy. They don't really want to be in front of everything. So, being in front of the camera for a lot of them is a scary thing. So, how do you deal with that?
Well, I was one of them,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know how it feels. Again, this comes down to a question you need to ask yourself. Why are you so scared to be photographed? Are you scared because you're scared of how people look at you? Ultimately, the answer has to do with your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because you really worry about what people think of you, and then you are just afraid to stand in front of the camera. Or you just do not accept yourself 100% of your body image. I've worked with women since my early 20s, even in corporate companies. So I know how they react when it comes to body image.
Yeah.
It comes down to your mindset, really. And also, I also tell them, can you guarantee yourself how much time you have left on this planet? Are you going to wait until don't know when to have a photo taken with your loved ones?
Yeah, so you really say, yeah, because that's what you actually said yourself as well, how you grabbed yourself out of the burnout. It's also like looking to the future. I have only one life. I want to make that a fulfilled life. That when I look back, I feel okay and great with my life.
True, exactly. I mean, you don't want to live until 80 or 90 years old and then start looking back, with a walking stick, and start looking back and say, oh shit, why haven't I done that when I was in my 40s or 50s?
Yeah.
Definitely. Or maybe you think, why didn't I have photographs taken with my best friends or children? But then when you are 80 or 90, maybe your best friends have already left this world, or your children might have, might have gone, might have passed away, or the other way around. We can't guarantee how much time we have on this planet. So we have to grab every moment.
True. It reminds me now of my sons, like with the family. I have a son, he definitely does not want to be in front of the camera. And I asked him several times, I really want to have a picture of the three of us, my daughter, my son, and me. And he just doesn't want that. And I really feel the sort of sorry for that. I really wish to have a picture from the three of us there. And since he doesn't want it, it's a different kind of dealing, but I can really see what you're saying, how important it is to be able to have that. So you can look at it, can have memories with that.
I think maybe your son is very young at the moment, I suppose.
Well, he's 19, so.
Yeah, 19 is young. I believe he doesn't see the value of it.
No, true. Completely true.
Turn this around and assume that you are the one who refused to be photographed and your children want to be photographed with you. Can you imagine, let's say you have a photo taken with the three of you or your family. 20 years down the road, your children look back at the photos. They will say, hey, Mom, I really appreciate that you have this photo taken with me. I'm having goosebumps when I talk to you about this.
Yeah.
They will really be very, very grateful. They will be very grateful because, like I said, if you leave this world, there are no photos that you can cherish.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice one. I'm gonna help you with that one.
Yeah, you can have the most expensive LV handbag, the most expensive car, but then your printed photographs are the most cherished things that you will ever own.
Yeah, completely true. Completely
Yeah.
true.
If you have a
So,
fire at home, you will grab your photos first.
yeah, I know that's what you always hear from everybody. So how important that can be. So going back to the burnout, because I'm looking at the time,
Yeah.
what would be the for you one or more tips for people who are in the middle of that burnout, who are in the middle of that feeling like they want to give up? What would be your tip to say, like, hey, do this or that and get yourself out of there?
A lot of times when we are the victims of having a burnout, we refuse to seek help. That's the problem with us. We think that it is a sign of weakness when we reach out for help. So
Yep.
if I can give you a tip is, there are only two ways. Either you just go deeper into that situation, or you get out and look for professional help. Don't be afraid to look for that.
Yeah, that's what I encounter a lot. I was for 10 years a burnout coach, and getting people, I give trainings all over, and for people to admit even that they are having stress. Let's not even say a burnout. It's really a hard thing to say, and because they do feel weak. I hear that so many times, but actually, what I always tell them, there are basically the weak people, if we can call it like that. Weak people don't get into burnout. They are the strong people who want to go through, who want to keep going, who want to do the things more and more and more. Those are more the people that are getting in burnout. So it's definitely not a weak spot. It's just you did it a little bit too much. You need to get out. And yes, I agree. A lot of people try to get out there themselves. It doesn't work.
Yeah, a lot of times we need professional help, and also a lot of people don't want to change. The only time they will change is when they look into the mirror, and then they start saying, "Oh, I have enough of this shit. I'm not going to live with that shit anymore." That's the moment they say, "Okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to change."
Yeah, I know sometimes somebody has to go even deeper first. I was talking to somebody yesterday and trying to get help also for problems. But then the person also said, like, I want to get rid of my problems and this whole too much. But at the same time, it's also nice to have it because that way I can get attention. So that's really another view to look at it. So, but I also told that person, probably you have to go deeper before you actually take the step, I want to get out.
It's always important to find the root cause, what the problem is. Sometimes we just live in denial. We just don't want to, face the reality, what the problem. But actually we know, but we don't want to talk about it. So It's important to really find the root cause, and then you get the solution to solve the problem.
Yep, and the solution is, part of it is in our heart, in the solution. And if we just want to listen to it, that's start number one. And then, to get help, to do it in a nice way, to do it in an easy way, and do it a lot quicker. That will be the nicest step for somebody. It's like a present somebody would give to himself.
Yeah.
So, well, Herman, I'm really glad we're in here 20 minutes. So is there something else you want to say to everybody who's listening to this?
I can tell you, we only have one life.
I love that one. I'm really going to use it in my coaching. Thank you so much for that.
If you don't do it now, when? When do you want to do it? When do you want to get out of that situation? When? It's all about the mindset here. It's like I said, it's easier said than done. You have to have that determination and the power to say, okay, let's do it.
Yep.
And put that shit behind.
I mean, it's mindset that brings you into a burnout, and it's mindset that gets you out of a burnout.
Yeah.
So
if you can get in, you definitely can get out.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Herman. Thank you
Thank you so
for
much.
wanting to be my guest and talk about your situation. And I'm so glad that you found your way out and that you found what you wanted to do and it gives you fulfillment. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So this is the end of our broadcast. And well, I will talk to somebody else in an interview in another time. I'll let you know in time. I hope you enjoyed it. And if there's any questions, just still ask them below and you will get an answer. Thank you. Bye.